Hello, and welcome to Page Turners, a bookish podcast. Each week we choose a different book, and then we come together and we talk about it. Just think of us as your book club besties. You can read along with us and berate us for a wrong opinion, or cheer when we get it right. Fair warning, there'll be spoilers. That's Liv.
And that's Amy. How are you?
I am very well. I am officially on holiday from work for a week.
Nearly did the siren that we have told ourselves we can't do anymore.
Not doing it anymore.
Woo, well done. And it's the beginning of the Fringe.
Woo!
Obviously this is going out a week later, so we'll be mid-August by the time, and the Fringe will be in full flow.
That's right. Yeah.
For us it's just beginning.
Just beginning. This is what we're on? The 4th of August.
Delightful.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we're going to try and make the most of the time off together, maybe go away. So let's find out. Let's find out together on the next episode if we went away.
No, because we're doing 2 episodes today, so it'll
we're working
be
so hard for you all.
You guys can find out at the end of August whether Amy went away at the beginning of August.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a reason to come back.
Great. I bet you'll be on the edge of your seat. Did Amy and Rory ever get to Amsterdam?
There was a bit there where you were like, we're going to go away together, and there was a moment where I went, are we going away together? And I went,
I've got plans.
I was like, a little bit of me was disappointed that I wasn't coming.
Oh, you'll be there in spirit.
Thanks, man.
Since we finished though, we have found, now I am not a big gamer, okay, neither really is Rory, but sometimes we'll find a game, you know, we've talked about It Takes Two and things together.
No, you fucking love that.
And we've now found a game called Planet Coaster.
Is it like theme parks?
Yes.
And like no, there's a name for it, like Farm Simulator.
Yeah.
And like theme park.
Did you ever play like Zoo Tycoon when you were a kid? Or...
Absolutely, yeah. Hospital something.
Yeah, all those.
General Hospital. Yeah.
This is the theme park version of it.
But it's like a theme park in space. If it's Planet Coaster.
No, I think it's just called Planet Coaster.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's it.
It's literally all that is.
Sorry for anyone screaming that at me.
Yeah. If you're a big Planet Coaster fan, can tell me. It eats your time. I think we started playing it yesterday at 11 a.m. and we went to bed last night at 1. And we had a couple of breaks to go and get, you know,
I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it. I reckon that is 14 full hours.
We ate dinner. We ate dinner on the couch. Like so do we want to have a little picky tea tonight? Just so we can... Just for something different.
Yeah.
Just so we can sit and continue to play the game.
Excellent. And is it a co-op or do you have to take turns?
You have to take turns, but it naturally works because Rory quite likes putting the buildings in and putting the rides in the right places. And I like to make them look pretty and design.
Excellent. And who do you have to manage the staff in this one?
We don't care about that, but you can. It's a bit like in The Sims, where I think there's 2 kinds of Sims player. Like you either like designing the houses, maybe building things, furnishing, or you like managing your Sims day to day.
Oh, I fucking love both of those things.
Which one best? You must have a preference.
Designing the houses.
Yeah, right? So it's a bit like that. I think we would do the park management bit.
I skipped an awful lot through, like sometimes kids would miss school, so then they'd end up going to military school, and then I would skip through them going to military school by accident because I wouldn't be quick enough. Yes. Or you'd be trying to fast forward the night when they're asleep, then the burglar would come and you would be in full panic mode. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's what we've been doing.
Classic.
For a day already.
I love that. I love that so much.
What have you been doing?
We went to the Fringe yesterday.
Nice.
Our first Fringe show was Come Dine With Me the musical.
How was it?
It was good. It was fun. It was what you would expect from a Come Dine With Me experience. And
Fair.
You know, nothing highbrow, nothing, it doesn't need to be. It was a cute story. All the performers were extremely talented, like incredibly so. And yeah, it was fun.
So you said musical. Was it a jukebox musical or was it original songs?
No, original songs.
Nice.
And very classic music wise, to fit it into an hour as well.
Oh.
I could see that they could take longer. Yeah.
Oh, there was more that could be done with the story.
I think they could have stretched it out, absolutely. They whizzed through it in a good way to make it so that it fit in with the hour. But yeah, no. And we've got, it's a bank holiday tomorrow.
Woohoo!
Woo-hoo. So Alex and I are spending the day in Edinburgh to go and see about 6 or 7 shows.
Yeah, you've got a marathon tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're really going to try and hit
6 or 7, yeah.
6 or 7.
Try and find out in 2 weeks, guys, whether or not what shows there were there.
We can't promise anyone anything more. Did we go to Amsterdam? Did you get to go and see all 6/7 shows?
Yeah. Whew.
If that's not reason to come back, what is?
Just don't.
It's not for you.
Yeah, it's not, and that would be fair. What are you currently reading at the moment?
I am currently reading a scary book.
A scary book?
Called The September House.
Ooh, spooky.
A bit early maybe for it when I'm thinking that. But
I mean, we're almost in September.
Almost. So it's the take on the classic haunted house story.
Love that.
But the twist in the tale is that the person who owns the house loves her house, and there's blood coming down the walls. It's very clear that something unsettling is going on, but she's just trying to ignore it.
Excellent. She also is the Sims house builder, clearly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, she just tries to overlook it.
She's determined to almost outlive the ghost here.
I think what it is because the hauntings and all the creepy stuff only ever happens in September, as the name would suggest, she thinks, well, 11 months out of the year it's normal, so I can put up with that 1 month.
That's fair. 30 days have September? Yeah, so 30 days out of 365.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's stunning...
It's stunning, and they got it for a steal because it's that
Sold.
classic who's been killed in the house.
I think maybe we talk in 2 weeks' time, and you tell us how severe the hauntings were.
I'll let you know, and then we can discuss. Would you put up with it? We'll come back to that.
Nice.
What about you?
I am reading The Sinister Booksellers of Bath by Garth Nix.
Nice.
It is a sequel to The Left-Handed Booksellers of London. It's great. It's like kooky. It's fun. And yeah, highly recommend. If you are a fan of Garth Nix, this is more adult than his like Mr. Monday stuff and his Sabriel stuff, and it's a bit more urban fantasy. But yeah, it's great. I would highly recommend. You know, if you like Garth Nix, you know what you're getting yourself into. If you don't know Garth Nix, read Sabriel and then try this.
Nice.
Fun.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
So Liv, what are we reading this week?
This week, Amy, we are reading The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. A very big book on TikTok, from what I can gather.
Yeah, I think, what do we say, over 1 million, significantly over 1 million.
Was it like 300 million? Something
crazy.
Stupidly ridiculous.
Reviews on Goodreads.
Yeah, and I mean, has it managed to keep a 4-star rating?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. This again, I think, so this would be is this our third TikTok book? Second TikTok book?
I think this is probably our...
So we did Pumpkin Spice.
Third then, because we had...
Pumpkin Spice, Powerless.
Yeah.
How do we think TikTok is doing at the moment? Do we think...
So far, it's not for me.
Do you think it's a nil situation? Do you think we are winning 2-0?
Yes.
Interesting. I think 1-0. 1-1 for me.
Which one did you like?
I quite like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe.
Okay.
Much better than I liked Powerless.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think maybe because I wasn't as insulted by the Pumpkin Spice Cafe as I was by Powerless.
Yeah.
I wasn't as angry about it.
No. It was much more neutral, wasn't it? It was a good time. It's quite sweet and cosy.
I could forgive it a lot easier than I forgave Powerless. But again, maybe that is just the way I felt about it at the time. Because now I'm thinking about it, she should have figured out is that fucking old guy who was
we need to talk about this for a long time.
Anyway, moving on. So TikTok has the chance to score again today. Let's see how it does. How would you describe this as a genre?
It's difficult because we can say it's a crime thriller. I would actually go more along the line of just a thriller.
Yeah.
Domestic thriller, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody really solving a crime in this one.
There's no police as any of the main character. There's no detective trying to get to the bottom of any of this, which I thought there might be.
With the prologue.
Yeah, So it's more just of how we start off, a crime has been committed, and then we flash back in time to figure out who done it and why. Also, I think as well, our main character doesn't become a detective or like doesn't become an amateur detective at all. Which yeah, I mean, if anything, she sort of doesn't really do anything. No, it's quite realistic in that way until we get to the end.
Yes, no, she definitely becomes a bit more active towards the end, but yeah. So yeah, like you said, we start with the prologue where our main character Millie is sitting on a couch and there's a body in the attic and the detective comes and sits next to her and it's very ambiguous as to who is in the attic.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't end of like, I'll have to think about what happened back then.
Yeah, and then that sort of harp music.
Yeah. Yeah.
We mistily go back in time. I think it was set up almost as if I saw what was in the attic. So I thought, oh, there's maybe a really sinister, dark secret in this house that has been revealed.
Oh.
Not just the room.
Is it... Oh, right, maybe I just assumed body then.
No, it did say there was a body.
Oh,
but
smashing.
then I think the police said something like, you've got to see this, or something like that. And I thought, oh, maybe there's like something really out there up in the attic.
Something else in the attic. Yeah, okay.
But we'll come to that. We'll come to that when we discuss it. Yeah.
So then we harken back 3 months earlier, and we come straight back in with Millie at a job interview.
On the same couch, which I did like.
Yes, no, you did like the transition.
Yeah.
Is it like an orangey couch?
Yeah, like a kind of tan orange leather couch. A fancy couch. It's a very... Whatever she is in this scene at the start, we know it's this nice sort of grand...
Expensive place,
yeah.
A couch that is not made for sitting.
No, exactly. A purely decorative couch. Yeah. Yes, and she's on the same couch, and she's in the middle of an interview.
With Nina Winchester.
With Nina. Have you read something like that before? Have you ever had that storyline before where someone is being interviewed for... I'm just curious, because it's quite a common thing.
I want to say yes, but I feel like I've maybe not necessarily... I've had that dynamic before,
right?
Where you've got a more dominant female character and our main character who has to place herself as a submissive character, because one person has a power control or something like that over them. Yeah. But I'm not sure if I've ever had employer-employee.
So I've read a few where, and I think maybe it's because it's horror, or I've seen like films and things like that. Where the character has interviewed, and at the start we as the viewer or the reader realise the danger. Oh, okay. But the character's fairly unaware of that position that they're putting themselves in. You know, they're interviewing to, I don't know, to do something in the haunted house. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? We are sitting there on the sidelines, realising that this person is putting themselves into a very dangerous situation.
Yes.
They're totally oblivious.
Yeah, and I think we get that not just with the interview dynamic, but also with the 3 months earlier. Like, there's a reason clearly that Freida's done that, to be like, this ain't gonna go well. Yeah, that, and then of course we get a little tour of the house into the fucking attic room itself, which even without the prior knowledge that we know that some shit has gone down in there, awful.
Not a chance. Now, we know that the main character, Millie, has been in a very difficult situation and that she is pretty desperate.
Yeah, it's been alluded to that she sleeps in her car. Yeah. We don't quite know everything. But, yeah, it ain't great if you're sleeping in your car.
No, and she's recently lost her job as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so we know she's desperate. So maybe that changes things a little bit. But it's a tiny room, and the window is painted shut.
Yep.
And there is a lock on the outside of the door.
Yep.
I mean, how desperate are we talking here?
Yeah, I mean, in your car, at least you can lock it from the inside. What I was expecting the window not to be painted shut and to be nailed shut.
Ah, okay.
Because, I mean, I'm skipping forward a little here. Like, Millie gets the job and she ends up working there and she moves into this little attic room. And she says, like, oh, you've painted over the window. You must have been by accident, despite the fact that there's a lock on the outside of the door.
Exactly. And they're also... have the audacity to offer you a job in this beautiful palatial home. Yeah, you're going to be in the attic room that's barely big enough to stand up in. Okay, cool, bye.
And also, have you seen rich people's houses? Like, their attic rooms are always converted master bedrooms.
It gave me Cinderella vibes.
Oh, yeah, you know, like Servant.
The animated version, the Disney one, where she sleeps is almost, there is an extra set of stairs to get up to it, but that's really not maintained, and it's just wooden bare steps, like cobwebs. That's what I had in my head. In my head, I had a Little Princess vibes. Okay, yeah. When her father dies and she no longer is able to afford it, so Miss Minchin lets her be a servant, and she lives with Becky. Yeah, the other servant. Yeah, but it's a similar thing. Rickety vibes, like there's water coming down from somewhere that you don't know. The rest of the house is glorious, but there's this horrible little door that you go through, and it takes you into the shadowy, creepy servant's quarter. Is it an obvious door, like in the Housemaid, or is it like, you know, one of those doors that sort of looks like it's part of the wallpaper? I don't really know, because I couldn't picture the house all that clearly. No, I don't think you get an awful lot. I know that there's a kitchen. And that kitchen attaches to the dining room. There's a kitchen diner, There's obviously the lounge area where she has her interview. And a TV that is unacceptable to watch. There's a master bedroom and one spare bedroom that she's not allowed to use. She has to use the...
Oh, yeah. And then there's obviously Cecilia's bedroom as well.
Yeah, so it's
not that we ever
it's a
see that.
3-bedroom massive house with an attic. Anyway, it's by the by. Yeah, she doesn't think she's going to get offered the job, and then she gets a phone call a week later from Nina to say, we would like you to take on the role.
And may the gaslighting begin.
Exactly, yes. What do you think the worst thing that happened to Millie was?
By Nina?
Yeah,
right.
By Nina.
I think it's probably... the thing is, though, they're all niggly. Like, all of them.
Yes.
I hated the bit where she went to pick up Cecilia from school.
Yes.
Not only did she tell her exclusively to do it, like, 20 minutes beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, called her up in the middle of her working day.
Told her the wrong name of the school.
Very strange.
And then when she gets there, she's going to karate practice with who's a whatsy-tits.
Yeah, exactly. And then Cecilia's horrible to her as well, so she just gets humiliated in front of everybody at the school.
Yep.
Yeah, that was horrible. Also, the trashing the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
So that every night when she comes downstairs, the kitchen has been destroyed.
Well, it's the fact that when she comes for the interview, it's pristine.
Yeah.
And then the first day of work, it's everything has been done to make it as disgusting as possible.
Yeah, and we can talk about this when we get to the twist, you know, the reveal. But it's even looking back on it, it's a bit of an odd one, isn't it?
I think I've said this to you before, like, I was maybe about the first time you meet everyone.
Yeah.
And the first time that Andrew, Nina's husband, apologises for Nina's behaviour, I was like, it's Andrew.
It's Andrew.
He's either gaslighting her, he's telling her that she needs to be on meds when she doesn't, or he's not letting her take those meds or something, hence why she's acting out, or she's having these almost episodes where she's trashing things and sort of having this almost, maybe she's got bipolar or something. And
I thought she might be bipolar.
She's not got the meds she needs.
No.
I know you told me that Freida likes a twisty tail.
Yeah.
So I was sort of maybe on the lookout for that.
Okay.
But also, yeah, it was very Gone Girl. No, not Gone Girl. Girl on the Train.
Okay.
I've written here, it's Gone Girl meets Girl on the Train.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my sort of first thought of it, like where it's not the person who it's been portrayed to be, and that person has been wrongly like maligned, but then also it's a sort of a female revenge story.
Yeah. Maybe because I've read some of her other books. Maybe because we are familiar, as you say, with the big, really popular thriller books like Gone Girl, Girl on the Train.
Yep.
We're looking to see that it's not likely to be the person that we first suspect.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a huge cast of characters, so I
knew
true. Instantly it wasn't Nina.
It ain't gonna be Enzo.
No.
No. The gardener who pretends to not know English.
Interesting tactic from Enzo.
Could you, just to talk about Enzo for a second, did you ever get a handle on if he was fit or if he was old or if he was like whatever? Because I felt like we were just getting really he was either buff or not, but then both of our characters are like, ooh, Enzo. Yeah. So then I felt like he was fit.
I think he was fit, physically fit, and he probably wasn't bad to look at, but I also think that Millie was in a position where she was sort of like, I will sleep with anybody.
What did she say? She's like, I haven't been dicked in 10 years. Yeah. That was something like that, yeah.
So she was kind of like, my standards are pretty low, he looks quite good, I'm going to go proposition him. And then be rejected. God, that scene was awful. Like, especially her trying to work through the language barrier she thinks she needs, and she like presses herself against him, like. Really irritated me how she just couldn't get a handle on the fact that he was Italian.
Oh, and she kept saying Spanish words. Oh my god. Right, I know.
You've been told now.
Yeah.
The first time we couldn't let you away with it, but now that you know.
Hola!
Exactly. Like, come on, Millie. She's been in prison for a while, you know. When did she go to prison? Did we work out what age she was at the start of the story?
Is she about... I thought she was about 17 when she went to prison.
Okay, so she's about 27.
Yeah, I think... I could have just made that up, though. But I feel like
makes sense.
We get that she hasn't really had most of her adult life outside.
Yeah. So Millie has been in prison.
Yes. Sorry, shockers.
We don't know why.
Yes.
But we might, I suppose we're sort of almost led to believe that it was something quite sinister, that maybe she is capable of a lot more than we realise.
Yes.
And actually, although she's kind of allowing herself to be pushed, she could snap.
Yes, and I think, with Nina's antics, we see Millie being pushed to the very edges of her anger, especially with one night. I think she's on the couch with Andrew. Perfect Andrew.
Watching Family Feud.
Jesus, honestly. The sexiest of the shows. And then Nina has a little tantrum, comes down, sort of makes it seem as if Millie's the one throwing herself at Andrew, which she's not. But
fair.
Because literally all we hear in Millie's thing is, oh, he's so handsome, he's so much better than her.
Yeah.
Like, get grip, Millie.
He doesn't deserve to be with someone like that. He deserves to be someone much hotter because she's let herself go and she's got roots.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Girls supporting girls then. Good stuff, Millie.
Millie describes herself as a girl's girl.
Yeah, Millie, things have changed in 10 years.
Yeah. And do you know what? Fair. Like, I think to myself, God, why did she not realise that he is a master manipulator? And then I realised that, yeah, she's been in prison for 10 years. But that's it. Do you think it's written like that to forgive all sins? For us to be like, where they're trying to shake Millie, being like, get out of that house?
A little bit, I think. And maybe not, but I just feel like if you were in that situation and you saw Nina and the way she was, instantly that's a red flag. There's something not right there.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gaslighting you. Well, she could just be trying to be cruel, but it's clear that there's something not going well for her.
Yeah.
But this is a vulnerable person that we need to.
Well, that's it, and
help.
we get the bit where she looks into the medicine cabinet and sees all the mental health medications that she's taking, which. And I think she does have a bit of compassion in that sense, and there's always something that makes her stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're very convenient plot lines, but I understand why they're there, because normally you would just get out of Dodge.
Yeah, the clothes storyline, when she gives her old clothes.
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Why would you? No. You know she's really unstable. You know that you're not sure what you're going to get from one moment to the next. Don't wear the clothes. It's not going to end well. Put them in the wardrobe with a bucket in it. Don't worry about the bucket.
The bucket. What's the bucket in there for? Nothing. That's absolutely nothing. Yeah, so she goes into the attic room. She's not got a lot of stuff. In the attic room is a single cot, a wardrobe, and inside of the wardrobe is a bucket.
It sounds like the wardrobe was only wide enough for a bucket to fit in it.
Also, the bucket definitely doesn't smell like piss.
Don't go to the bucket. Just leave the bucket there.
There's nothing. Why is a bucket in a wardrobe? Anyway, you could have at least put the bucket with a little bag in it to make it look like a bin.
Exactly.
Right? No, it's just in the.
Or she could have made her surroundings a bit nicer. I'm not saying that she has to
redecorate.
Victim
blaming.
Exactly. That's so bad. But take the bucket out of the wardrobe. Put your shoes in there.
In the bucket?
No, in the bottom of the wardrobe. Yeah, fair.
Fun.
Fair. Okay.
So yeah, basically we have a, let's say, 2-month period of Millie basically just taking shit after shit sandwich from Nina.
It's a tough read, actually.
She tells her things and then goes back, and then she makes it seem as if Millie's sabotaging her. She obviously finds the clothes in Millie's wardrobe and pretends that she didn't give them to her, or, at this time we think she doesn't remember, or, but then she's done enough that we think, nah, she's doing this on purpose,
Yes.
But of course Andrew's always there to smooth away the tension. Solid eye roll from you right there.
Absolutely. He's that, because they're going through fertility issues, and he's the rock, and, don't worry about poor Nina who's going through it. Andrew's affected by it.
Oh, he's so sad.
He's so sad.
He's so sad.
Perfect Andrew.
And he needs consoling.
Oh,
and also, isn't he such a hero for taking on a woman with a child already?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And he treats her like she's his own. Oh, he's there.
Saint Andrew.
Fucking prick.
Oh, I hated, and I could see it coming a mile away, but I absolutely hated the New York bit.
Yeah, oh, we're gonna go, and I didn't know whether they were actually gonna go and Nina was gonna be left on her own and something was gonna happen to Cecilia, or something was gonna happen in the house, or it was gonna be what we got, which was, oh, Nina can't go, and you've booked them for the wrong date, so it has to be Millie that goes, but then she's got no friends.
No, she couldn't possibly have anyone else she could go with. She has to go with Andrew.
I think we're victim blaming a little bit
A
again.
little bit. Sorry, Millie.
Why couldn't you take Enzo the gardener?
Exactly.
That would have been a much nicer time.
It would have been. Yeah, so Millie books tickets to a show for Nina and Andrew to go to New York and try and take their mind off all the horrible sort of time they've been having.
Yeah.
But of course, it's the wrong date because we're gaslighting her again.
Yeah.
And then...
And Andrew pretends that he could return the tickets, but then he's like, actually, I couldn't, but don't tell Nina, don't worry about the money, because Nina's threatened to take that out of her paycheck, and then he basically says, well, why don't I take you? You've never been to a theatre before?
Yeah.
Why don't I take you? And then...
Yeah, it's My Fair Lady now. Come on.
Oh, it's so My Fair Lady. And then they go, and she just has the best time. She's, of course, wearing Nina's sexiest dress.
Yep. She picks the sexiest white dress she can find. Goes downstairs, and Andrew is... It's like a... what's that? She's All That moment where she descends the stairs.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Andrew's mesmerised.
Yeah.
And then they go to New York together, and of course, after the show, after a meal...
Oh, we're so hungry. No, it's this bit that I need to talk about, I'm sorry, before we even get to the hotel bit. It's the bit where they go to the restaurant, and she's so enamoured by him, and he says, like, oui, mademoiselle. And she's like, oh, he's fluent in French. I'm like, he said 2 words.
To be fair to her, that is fluent, because she couldn't work it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. She's like, oh my god, he's speaking Croatian. It's like, oh, no. No, actually, I'm fluent. You're fluent in French? Oui, mademoiselle. Yeah, ich bin fluent in French.
So true.
Literally, all he says is oui, mademoiselle, and then the name of the food that he's read off the menu.
Exactly.
Like,
which she's got no idea how the pronunciation should be.
And then when it comes, it's fucking salmon on a baguette. Like, what the fuck is that? I've never been served that in a French restaurant in my entire life.
Some of the best culinary.
I know. I've written here, what fucking French restaurant are they at, and can I know so I can never go?
Never go there. Get the classic salmon on baguette.
Salmon on baguette, yes, oui, mademoiselle.
S'il vous plaît. Oh no. Oh god.
But, yeah, so basically it's this ridiculous thing, and they have this night out that's just like a princess moment for her, and then he's like, oh, it's so late, maybe we should, and I've had a bit too much to
Drive
drink.
home.
Yeah.
Don't drink, Andrew.
Or get a fucking taxi.
Exactly.
You've got so much money.
Get an Uber.
Yeah, but
Pick your car up tomorrow. You don't live far from New York, apparently.
But yeah, no, he goes and they go to this fancy hotel in the plaza, and they're like, oh, I'll sleep on the couch. Oh no, you don't sleep on the couch. We'll be fine. And then they just dick each other.
Of course they do.
Sorry, they have sex.
They have sex multiple times.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's she says something like, oh, we've barely slept. Yeah.
Really?
She gives in, and she does the thing that she said she wasn't gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we find out that Nina she was taking Cecilia to summer camp, and that's why she wasn't able to go to the show on those dates. And we find out that she called the house at 11:30 at night or something like that.
Yes, because she texts Millie being like, may I remember to put the trash out?
Yes.
Take out the trash. So they get there, and she's like, oh, Andrew, I forgot to take the trash out. And then Andrew tries to have this really loud, like, English conversation in a foreign country of like, take out trasho to Enzo.
Exactly.
But he's fluent in French, Amy, so how is he managing to like not get this?
Why is Enzo there all the time? I know we find out why, but doesn't that ever make him think, why is the gardener just never home? He just stays in the garden all day.
The garden is perfect as well. Yeah, and then essentially we know that...
We know. She knows what's happened. She's
so aware, because she then, the playbill... So like the theatre programme is then outside of where Millie hid it as a little sinister, like, I know what you did last summer, but type thing.
It's a little calling card, isn't it? Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then inevitably Millie keeps herself to herself. Do they kiss at one time? And it's a bit like...
They do something gross in the kitchen where he like touches her, or there's something that they do because they can't possibly keep their hands off one another.
Absolutely.
And then eventually there's a thunderstorm. Whoa, look at this.
Both outside and inside the house.
And Andrew tells Nina to leave.
Yes, and Nina packs her bags, and Millie chooses this moment to try and be compassionate to Nina.
Know. Shall I help you with your bags?
Yeah, you fuck off. It comes across not like, shall I help you with your bags? So hurry the fuck up. Exactly. I'm mistress of this house now.
Exactly. I want to start thinking about some colour schemes for the bedroom.
Yeah.
Out you pop.
And I wrote down this here. I said, I know Millie has very few options, has been incarcerated a while, but she's not a fucking idiot. Staying in a house after the wife has left and fucking the man? Bit of a flimsy reason to still be there. You don't even know him.
You don't know him. That's
right?
The thing. And when it was almost assumed, oh, you'll just stay here now then. You'll just move into the master bedroom. Will I?
I think she wants to move into the guest room, to be fair.
She did to start with, and then I think he was a bit sort of...
Yeah, because basically as soon as Nina's gone, they have sex again.
Yeah, but in the guest room,
in
right?
The guest room, yeah, because she just
moves in with her.
She just couldn't possibly think about shagging in Nina's bed. That's how respectful she's being.
That's her line.
Yeah, and she does not want to cross it.
Nope.
She's crossed many lines already.
Exactly. Okay, the big reveal. Dun 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 dun.
56% as well.
The POV switches
yes.
to Nina, and we find out that this has been her plan all along. She is so grateful and happy that she is finally able to leave the house.
Yes, we find out very quickly that Andrew is the bad guy. We're all shocked, and that
Andrew is a psycho.
Yes, well, because that part one ends with Millie and him. They've had sex and they're going about their day to day, and then they have sex in the attic room for some reason, and then she wakes up and she's locked in that room. He's not there anymore.
Physically space in that room for them to have sex in?
I don't know, but they manage it.
They manage it.
Somehow the bucket's being used.
The bucket gets knocked over in the heat of the moment.
Oh no, not the piss.
And then he goes down.
Well, she wakes up, he's not there.
Ah, right, okay.
And she is locked in that room.
And she's locked in. And then he comes to the door and she's like, Andrew, I'm locked in. And he's like, yeah, no.
Not even that yet. I think she just locked in, and then we get part two.
Oh, do we just get that then?
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Not even. And,
okay.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, but we don't even get that.
Not to her.
No, not yet. All we didn't mention as well is she gets locked in the first night.
Oh yeah. So do you think that was him testing the lock?
Well, this is it. I needed you to tell me this. I didn't need you to tell me this, but I wanted your opinion on this. Because obviously at the beginning we think it's Nina.
Yes.
Right. So I can't imagine that this is a scenario. So whoever it is, Nina or Andrew, the villain of the piece, is waiting outside of Millie's room, having locked the door, for her to then wake up and try the door, for them to then unlock it and then run away.
Exactly. Yes.
That is a logistical nightmare that I just don't believe.
So you lock the door on the chance she will wake up in the night to use the bathroom or whatever it is she wanted to go up for. She might not have. So they're doing that every single night until she does eventually do it.
And then they're also standing there waiting to then unlock it.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
On a
then
landing area.
They're clearly running away down the rickety stairs.
Yeah. Yeah. No one sees them though. They're
no, of course not.
They're a ghost. We don't notice them.
Maybe they're wearing a black morph suit and just stood in the corner. I don't know.
Don't go anywhere.
Maybe they hide in the bucket.
And then just enough time for the handle to be tried for them to quickly and then run away.
I'm surprised. Flung it open. No one's it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. I don't know if it's Nina or Andrew. Nina maybe because she wants to check her plan will work down the line.
Yeah, she wants to start freaking out Millie. But yeah, no, I don't think that's ever confirmed as to whether it was Andrew. I think it's probably Nina because Andrew has no interest in Millie at the beginning, and then we find out why she's been brought here. That's
right. So do we think he eventually turns his attention from being abusive to Nina to being abusive to Millie and planning to do the same thing again? When was that? Was that when she came downstairs in the white dress? Was that before? I think it's the seed has been sown. Right. Probably from maybe the Family Feud. Ah, okay. So then he felt the chemistry between them. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is all Nina's plan. This is what we find out, is that she has essentially presented this woman on a silver platter to detract from herself. Well, to take her place, essentially. Yeah, because she is being horrifically abused by him. Yep, we find out that, because of course we've been told that not only is Nina mentally ill, she tried to kill her own child and put her in the bath and drown her. Well done, remember that. I forgot that bit. Yes. Yeah. So Nina actually ended up having to stay in a hospital because someone tried to drown Cecilia in a bath. Yep. And Nina believes it was her.
Millie believes it was Nina.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
and the whole world believes it was Nina.
Exactly.
But basically, Andrew locks her in that room because her roots are showing one time.
Oh, it was really sinister.
He then makes her pick out, was it 100 hairs?
50, I think. Or was it 100?
I think it was a lot. It was a lot of hairs.
It was a lot.
It was a lot more than 10.
So she kind of
put them in an envelope.
Takes it out by, because you can, if you guess you're running your hands through, you'll get a couple.
Yeah.
And she manages to do it fairly painlessly, kind of.
I think it gets to a point where she probably just can't feel it anymore.
Yeah, and then she slides it back under, and he basically
says you're one short.
You're one short.
Do it again.
And she has to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's really horrible.
So she's put up there, she explains to us that she's put up there for things like that, for putting on a bit of weight, for
leaving a light on. She gets starved one time for putting on a bit of weight.
Yep.
And he installs some kind of extreme watt bulb.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
So that she either is in pitch blackness, because I don't know, he must board the window, or she is in the brightest of lights that she can't even open her eyes when she's in the room. Military grade weaponized light bulbs,
which nobody is suspicious or flagged at all about him buying, but you know, it's fine.
And then so basically the punishment fits the quote unquote crime, right? Yes. He likes to think of sort of creative, fun ways to punish her.
Just keep the marriage alive, you know. And then essentially, so she spends the next few years planning to replace. Well, she tries lots of different things, doesn't she? And then she finds Millie to replace, and she already knows about Millie's background, so she knows she'd be desperate enough to stay there. And then she actually, I think she plans for Millie to kill him.
Yeah, she hires Millie in her head, in her mind, thinking, well, she's killed someone for similar reasons, which we don't know about yet.
Yes.
So this could be another case where she's pushed too far. And we do get that little hints of Millie being pushed too far. So as you say, she smashes the glass.
She's angry, yeah.
She's angry. Not that much, to be fair. We don't get much in the way of clues about that.
That is very true. We don't get a lot of, she eats a lot of shit.
She does, yeah. Way more than you would expect if the idea is that she has sort of unchecked anger.
But then I wonder if her outlet is fucking Andrew.
Maybe.
I know, what a horrible outlet.
Yeah, yuck. So we flash back, or not so much flashback, but we go back to Millie's POV.
Yep.
And she's in the room. Andrew comes to the door.
Similarly tortured.
Why? What was his...
Because she leaves the books out on the table. She leaves a few books out from his bookshelf on the table in the lounge. And so he's put 3 books in there that are very heavy, like physical textbooks. And he says if she lies on the floor, puts them on her stomach for 3 hours... Yeah. And then he does a similar thing. She eventually does it. She rages at him. She's like, "You fucking crazy," etc., etc., like you would. And then essentially she sits in, pretends that they're on me, you know, that sort of thing. He's like, "No, they're not," and you can see, you know, that he's got a camera in there.
In the room. Yeah.
And then essentially she puts the books on her, does it for 3 hours, and then he's like, "Oh no, it was only 2 hours 50." Very similar to Nina.
Very similar.
Has to do it again. We realise the bucket is in there to piss in. No poos though.
No poos in the bucket.
No poos in the bucket. That'd be disgusting.
Yeah, she's starved, and there's 3 bottles of water.
Oh yes.
In the fridge, which we at the start think that Nina has put in there as a filling up the mini fridge type thing. Oh no,
it's not one of those TikTok videos where the women fill up the mini fridge for their kids.
I actually love those videos.
Me too, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just 3 bottles of water.
How cute are those little tiny bottles?
They are very cute.
2 or 3 swigs max, but it's fun that they fit in the mini fridge.
But also fuck those kids, because I want a mini fridge that looks like that. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, essentially she gets out.
Yeah, I'm blanking on this part. So she gets out.
She manages to get out because she manages to get Andrew into the room.
That's the bit. So does she get out and then they have a bit of a...
She maces him, doesn't she?
That's right.
Because Nina, we find out, has left the mace in there from a time when Andrew maced her himself.
No, she maced herself.
Oh, she had to mace herself.
She was forced to mace herself.
What was the crime then?
Something to do with eyes.
Probably.
I don't know. Anyway, can't remember. But yeah, she was forced to mace herself, and she put the mace
in the drawer.
In a drawer or somewhere in the...
Maybe in the bucket.
Didn't check.
Yeah, cool. His fucking fault, really. And she essentially... Yeah, she traps him in the room and forces him to put the books on his penis, on his crotch. Hilarious.
Great.
And then she basically just... for a book that was a thriller... there's genuinely one bit that scared me.
Oh, which part?
She goes to bed, leaves him in the room, wakes up,
and she can't see him.
And she can't see him.
Oh!
What did I write here? I did genuinely feel terror when she woke up and thought Andrew wasn't in the room anymore.
But he was huddled under a blanket in the bed.
Yeah, I was terrified of that bit. And I was reading it in bed myself at the time, and I felt myself be like, where the fuck is Andrew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we have that's when we get the reveal that Millie has got potential to be quite a sinister person, because rather than just keeping him locked in the room until maybe contacting the police or gathering evidence to speak to someone about it or go and talk to Nina, she continues to torture him.
Absolutely. She forces him to pull out she says, I'll let you out if you pull out one of your own teeth.
And then another one.
Yeah.
And then another one.
Yeah, but we don't actually see that.
No, because that was very quick. It was almost when Nina comes back and realises that something has went quite drastically wrong. Although, Nina, this was your plan all along, my love.
Well, we do get a bit more insight in that we realise Enzo has been helping Nina, and that they're sort of like banging.
That's why he's always there.
Exactly, he's very aware of who Andrew is. And he sees her from I love the scene where it's sort of just Nina's been married a few months, she's been locked in the attic a few times, and she comes out, doesn't think he speaks English again, but thankfully doesn't think he speaks Spanish, and just says out to the world, my husband tortures me and locks me in an attic when I'm bad.
Mm-hmm. And then he obviously hears it.
And then he sees her in the room. Yeah. And then Enzo comes to her and says that Millie's car hasn't moved. No one's car has moved. No one, that I've seen the light on in that room, and Nina second guesses her plan. Mm-hmm. And she goes there and she finds Millie sat in the attic room, isn't it? Sat in the attic room.
No, I think Millie is outside it.
She's
downstairs
somewhere.
Or something, and then they go upstairs and she sort of says, Millie, you need to unlock the door. And when Millie unlocks the door, she goes in to look at Andrew, he's dead.
Who's missing a load of fucking teeth.
And he's been dead a while, I think.
Yeah, he has been dead a while. And then essentially she tells Millie to go, creates an alibi, manages to get away with the murder because conveniently the detective is the father of Andrew's ex-fiancée.
The end is so stupid.
It allows us to have a happy ending by tying up every possible loose end, but at the same time it ties it up too neatly. Oh, no one asks any questions about this guy who no. I don't even think we get a cause of death for Andrew. I thought he probably just bled out.
No, I think they say, oh right, yeah, I think he maybe he just starved to death. I don't know.
But
he might have bled out.
It takes a long time to starve to death.
When he rips his teeth out. We don't know how long he's been in there though.
Oh, but also she's already drunk all the water, hasn't she?
Yeah, there's nothing left in the room.
So all maybe it's a mixture of the two, yeah. So because he's bleeding out, he doesn't replenish those fluids. So, yeah, fair.
Now, the only possible chance of there maybe being a bit of a red flag and they're not getting away with it is Andrew's mum. Because Andrew's mum sees the body and maybe questions the fact, oh, he hasn't got any teeth. I thought he got stuck in a room and the door accidentally locked and he started, it was a tragic thing that happened. No foul play or anything like that.
Do we assume he's gumless? Do we assume he's got,
significant teeth out.
Teeth loss, fair.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And his mum says...
At the funeral...
I always warned him that he would lose his teeth if he didn't look after them properly.
Oh my god. And yeah, you realise that the reason he is the way he is because his mother would do the same to him as a child.
Yeah.
Which, do you find that almost humanises Andrew in a way that he really doesn't deserve?
I think it's trying to, but then is it also maybe just trying to explain why they're getting away with it? Because the mum also doesn't, she's also just...
batshit mental. Yeah.
So she's not going to put two and two together and realise what's happened.
Yeah. I was expecting instead a different way was that he had been abusive to his mother and she was going to be glad that he was gone.
I thought the same thing.
I thought that was what was going to happen and that she tried to help Nina through the years or whatever. Mm-hmm. I thought that's what we were going to get.
Maybe that's why she kept offering to look after Cecilia.
Yeah, but turns out she's just as sadistic, but just realises that Andrew just didn't take care of his teeth, and that's what happened to him.
That's what happened to him. She was right all along.
Wah, wah, wah.
The epilogue. What did you think about the epilogue? Did you expect it to be how it was?
I thought it was quite cute that, Nina sent Millie a text with her and Cecilia being like, thank you for this, or whatever, in like Florida or the other opposite side of the country or whatever. But yes, I have a question for you here.
Okay.
So are the sequels gonna just be Millie avenging wronged women?
I think so, because the second one, bear with.
Because yeah, the epilogue, it gets into a house where the woman is clearly being abused because she's hiding bruises or something.
Yeah.
And, you've been recommended by Nina. Can you help me? Is the last line, and it's like, Millie would.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yes, I can. I won't read the whole thing, but the Garricks this time. I still haven't met Mrs. Garrick or seen inside the guest bedroom. I'm sure I hear her crying. I notice spots of blood around the neck of her white nightgowns when I'm doing laundry. Blah, 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 blah. That's when I make a promise. After all, I've done this before. I can protect Mrs. Garrick while keeping my own secrets locked up safe. Douglas Garrick has done wrong. He is going to pay. It's simply a question of how far I'm willing to go.
Ah, right. So it is going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Huh. Fair.
So, okay.
There we go then.
Stick to the formula.
Yeah. Character. We've rambled on an awful lot about the plot, but we can, because there's not a lot of them. And do you think? I mean, a few of them have a bit of depth, but I think we only get them in flashes, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if in the sequels we get more Millie.
Fair. I would have liked to have known a bit more about Millie.
Yeah. I wonder if we get an actual, because we find out that essentially she kills the man that was abusing her friend, right?
Yeah, she kind of walks in on someone, a man, I don't know, what was it? Was it a party or something? I can't quite remember.
Oh,
what
yeah,
it
no, it was like a college party thing, wasn't it?
And he was forcing himself on her friend.
Yes.
She sees red, and
she like hits him with a trophy or a blunt object, and it kills him. So first off, accidental killing. So I think all that anger we've been shown is almost misleading, because we see her breaking glasses, but we don't. She's almost being pitched to us as like, oh, I'm gonna kick his fucking head in.
Yeah.
But whereas in actual fact, she's just trying to get him off her friend.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even intend to kill him in the first place.
No. I think it'd have been quite interesting, and it would have made more sense how she treats Andrew at the end if we did see more little signs that she has maybe got a little bit of a sadistic
absolutely
side to her.
I'm not saying she abuses the child, but I'm saying she potentially outwits the child.
Yeah.
In a bit of a mean way. Not like no abuse or anything like that, but like, you know, like a sneer at the child or something when she does something. She gets silly or in trouble. Something. I feel like that would have
and
maybe.
we see behind the curtain a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I felt like there was a lot of Millie missing. It was convenient. Her parents have basically disowned her because she was in prison.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have any friends because she's been away for 10 years.
Yeah.
So once again, we have the classic, no one's looking for Millie.
Yeah, no one
cares about her.
Absolutely, yeah. Nobody gives a rat's ass about Millie.
No.
And that, I mean, obviously it's been written that way so that she's got no, like, so there's no need.
Yeah.
She can come and go as she pleases. I wonder if in the sequels, which I think so often might happen, is we'll get Millie, like, a blast from the past that puts her plans in jeopardy or something.
It sounds a lot more like in the second one, it's all about how far I'm willing to go. I've done it before, I'll do it again. Like, maybe she's starting to lean more into that side of herself. But maybe in the second one, we'll also see she's formed a relationship with Nina. Maybe she's in touch with her, or...
I know that we got a little bit of epilogue of like, oh, thank you for this, but it was not, there wasn't much. I hope not.
Yeah, it's a bit cheap, isn't it?
I think, like, just leave it in the past. You know, Nina has no reason to come back.
No.
So Nina wouldn't, you know, like, she took so much to get out, so I really hope that...
It's also a bit much from Nina to basically advertise her as, yeah, this woman will kill your husband for you.
Right? I thought you were going to say a bit much from Nina to advertise herself as a replacement. I was like, Enzo does say that to her, like, you know, you basically sent this young woman to be abused. And she says, oh, well, better her than me.
Yeah.
Which, you know, and then we know that she has a change of heart and comes back and sort of, I suppose, redeems herself in a way. But, yeah, no, you're right. Like, like, this woman helped me kill my husband, so maybe she can help you kill yours.
Don't worry about the poor girl that's been traumatised already, spent 10 years in prison, has now come out, has committed another crime, and has been obviously going to be affected by that. Just keep getting her to kill people.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Her life's over anyway. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. She's got priors. Especially considering she has this alibi for Millie, and she's like, oh no, I sent her away, she was on a week holiday. Yeah. But if it happens again at the Garrixes, what policeman worth his salt, or what detective worth his salt isn't going to be like, wait, weren't you at the... I mean, yeah, but they alibied me. Yeah, but it still means super sus.
Yeah, but then maybe she'll just say, oh, it was... Remember, it was that Andrew guy. Like, oh yeah, the bucket thing. Just leave it then.
Not the bucket, of course.
Just leave it. It's all fine. Yeah, very true. I'm interested on why there is a sequel. I think there's two
sequels. Yeah, so... The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid's Watching.
Yeah, these things stand alone well, I feel, because it's not then subject to as much scrutiny. Mm-hmm. As soon as you add a sequel or a third book, I mean, you've really got to be a bit more robust in your...
I think
that's your story.
That's got to be the power of TikTok, right? Mm. Like, the reason it's similar to what we said about heated rivalry. So do we think that the sixth book only exists because it was so popular? Mm-hmm. So let's have a quick look. Do they stand up to snuff, The Housemaid? Okay, so as we know, The Housemaid 1 has 1.3 million ratings.
Wow.
At 4.33. So definitely not 300 million like I tried to say in the first bit of the episode. It's a bit too ridiculous, that. Yeah, so 1.3 million ratings, and it's remained at 4.3. It's difficult to stay in the 4-star bit of Goodreads. So
especially a thriller, because they're, you know, not everybody loves them.
They're trash.
They are trash. And we must say, though, they are a bit like kind of fast food, junk food. Like, it's not sustenance to read these kind of books, but it's fun. It's enjoyable.
But everyone likes their own thing, right? Like, thrillers aren't my thing. They're much more yours. Mm. But, and I'm obviously only joking when I say that it's trash, because, you know, but just like I would imagine that somebody who read solely thrillers would think my genre choice of fantasy is trash. Because, you know,
But even in the thriller sort of, in the genre, these books aren't there to, you know, raise loads of questions, have you thinking. Yeah. It's a bit of a fun, very fast read.
Yeah, it was very fast. I mean, we find the twist at 56%. Yeah. So that means we have 44% of wrap-up. Mm-hmm. That's mad.
Yeah.
The fact that is... Sorry, Housemaid's Secret number 2, 695,000, 4.25.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the kind of quality then stays where it should.
Absolutely. Has this one come out? Yes, The Housemaid is Watching came out June 2024. Ooh. It is the only one under 4 stars. 238,000 ratings, 3.91. So still quite high.
Still quite high. Significant decrease in the number of ratings, though. People falling off at various points there.
Is it Millie again? It looks like it might be.
Millie again? Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Doesn't specifically say Millie, but yeah, maybe someone can tell us if it is.
Fair to say characters are quite weak.
I just think it's not about them.
No.
You know, in a way,
it's a plot-driven story.
It's very plot-driven, and we don't get a lot of, like, insight. I think we get a bit of insight into Andrew through his mother, but nothing, you know. But like you said, it's enough of an explanation for it to be like, yep, done.
Yeah.
To be fair, even if there was no explanation, I think I would have just accepted that Andrew was a psychotic arsehole.
Me too. I wasn't looking for an explanation about his mum. That was an extra thing that just made me go, oh, okay.
Yeah, very fair.
Fair, yeah.
And yeah, Enzo, I mean, his motivations seem a little unclear. Like, he's likes Nina.
Yeah, maybe because he knows what Nina's plan is, and he feels a guilt because he is an accessory to that. And
I think there's a bit of a plot line with him and his sister, and like
his sister has been in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, and he can't go back to Spain.
yeah. He's kind of, I guess, wanted by a sort of gang there.
So he can't go back, and I think
it's a bit woolly.
He feels like he didn't protect her, so he's sort of transferring that guilt onto Nina's character, so he stays to help. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like we said.
The only thing is, right, we learn quite quickly that he can speak English.
Yep.
Yeah. Why doesn't he just say it's dangerous? Because he says in Italian, because I looked it up.
It's Spanish. Yeah, me too.
Danger. Yeah, basically, it's dangerous.
I looked it up, and then she looks it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what was all that work for?
Me too. Me too. So, I know he doesn't want to give himself away, give the game away as such, but why didn't he just say...
Why didn't he just sort of say
dangerous
in a really heavy Italian accent to be like broken English? Just like,
danger.
You know, yeah. I don't know.
It just seems like you kind of did want to protect her, but not enough to just say one word that she would understand.
Especially considering I know that even in our language there are so many words that sound similar. What if she just accidentally mistypes the wrong word and ends up with something like Hoover?
Exactly.
What the hell does
to
it
be
mean?
fair, she does find out that it was danger, and it doesn't make a difference. She doesn't change how she reacts and what she does next. So
very true. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. Well, you tried, Enzo.
Don't worry, Enzo.
And you failed, and it didn't work.
This is probably a redundant question. Do you have a favourite character?
No.
So,
which is weird because I love characters.
I know you do.
Characters are my thing, and no.
It's almost like a testament to how weak then I think the characterisation is, because you should typically feel drawn, I think, to one character over another, a couple of characters maybe over another, have a soft spot for them, feel you could relate to them in some way. Not in this story.
No, I think if I was pushed, I would have to say Nina.
I would have had to say the same.
But there's not enough. I don't have enough from her.
No.
Like, all we get is that she's a little secretary. That sounds so demeaning. All we get, well, I think it's meant to be.
Yeah,
like,
it's meant
we get
to be.
that she's like a down on her luck, single mother secretary, and she's plucked from oblivion by Andrew the Saviour, and then it goes all fucking horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And that is awful.
And she's stuck in that horrible situation because if she tries to escape, then Andrew will use that to basically have Cecilia taken away from her.
Andrew has got everything sorted. Like, he is very aware.
Yeah, and then at the end, though, she decides to take the rap, which you would have thought that was her entire thing, was that she can't go back to the hospital, she can't leave Nina, Cecilia on her own, because Andrew could get to her, and that could be, because we don't... Yeah. It's alluded to that he is somewhat... There's something going on between him and Cecilia, and that he's not treating her particularly...
Oh God, I thought you meant sexy-wise.
No. But she's got a real concern about the fact that it's not just her that he potentially would do this to.
Yeah, Cecilia really fucking hates Andrew.
Yeah.
Like, she's terrified of him. And I think it's because she's seen what he does to her mother.
Yeah. And maybe he wouldn't do it when she was younger.
Yet.
But as she gets older.
Yeah, once she starts getting into, like, 16 years or something.
And Nina's
like
no longer there to protect him. To protect her, from him. Then she's obviously thinking this could potentially happen to her.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think she tries to get out for real. Amy, final thoughts. So, harkening back to the first part of the podcast, TikTok has it scored again. I did write a note. This is just after I'd read it. I wrote, TikTok once again shitting their pants over very little.
Yes, that sums it up. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was a quick read. It wasn't terribly written.
No, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, it's tough because this is not my genre. But I found it fairly entertaining. I didn't hate it. I didn't DNF it. I didn't find it offensive, or it didn't make me angry.
No. What TikTok does is it chooses a book and it casts that book into the spotlight, where there are so many other books that do the exact same thing, and it just so happens that The Housemaid was the one. For whatever reason, there are so many other books like this with similar storylines. Freida McFadden's written loads and loads of thriller books.
Yes,
herself.
I did write this, and I feel like this is a question for you. It says, I'll be interested in Amy's opinion, but even to me, this didn't seem like something revolutionary or particularly groundbreaking.
No, not at all. Very small cast of characters. I think we both said, and I'm sure other people agree, that the twist wasn't really a huge surprise. No, I mean, but again, how many times do we have to flog this dead horse? It never spoils it. Most of the time, that when we guess the twist, but yeah, it didn't spoil it, but it's as you say, it's not doing anything groundbreaking. Yeah, we don't think we get introduced to Nina. We're led to believe it's Nina that's the baddie. Yeah, we know as the reader it's not, because that's too obvious, and we're only about 8% through the book. So it's going to be someone else. Who else can we choose? In the cast of characters, well, there's Andrew. We don't really have anyone else unless it's Enzo. or the child. Or the child, yeah. Which would be a real change of pace.
But
that would be interesting.
yeah,
That would be revolutionary.
That would give me a lot of more questions, though. Like, how is this tiny child overpowering a big man?
Exactly.
Like, but you know,
but what
it's
an
fine.
entertaining read. So I think it's not a case of sort of 3-0 for me. This was a bit better than the other two, but this is more what I like to read.
Okay.
So I can't say it was terrible, but I think it's unfair, and it's very much a commentary on how TikTok works. That this just so happened to be the golden ticket book. That luck, but from no other reason except just sheer chance, this was the one that was chosen.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're making this into a film.
Exactly. I could see this as a film.
Well, because we'll actually get to see the fucking house now.
Yeah, I can actually picture what I'm reading. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a bit unfair, and I can imagine if you're another kind of thriller writer who's written a similar kind of book, why wasn't it mine?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do think sometimes they're picked out of nothing. Not to say that Freida McFadden is a nothing writer, but you know,
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying there's other people that also deserve recognition, and no one else gets it except these people that TikTok somehow chooses and promotes hugely. It's an interesting dynamic.
It is everywhere though, the Housemaid. Like everywhere.
I can see it being a film.
Yeah, even though it was published 2 years ago, I'm still seeing it everywhere. And yeah, I suppose now that sequels are coming out as well. Good for Freida McFadden. You know what, I'm going to put it in the yes pile.
Okay. Yep.
But not that high up the yes pile.
No.
So we're going, we're currently, TikTok is winning 2-1. But I feel like it shouldn't be. That's the thing.
We don't want it to.
No, for sure. Your move, TikTok.
Would you recommend it to a friend though?
Yeah, I definitely got a few friends I could recommend this to.
I think my mum would like this.
I think my mum might. Yeah, I think actually now you think about it, my mum might like this as well.
I think it's a nice holiday read. I could see my mum on a sun lounger with a,
and then she
drink.
puts it in the communal book section of the hotel afterwards, because you don't need to take it home with you.
No, I think she could. That would. It's an airport read. Pick it up in the airport on your way to somewhere and enjoy it for what it is. A very quick read that will get you through a flight.
Have you got any books to recommend to us?
I have, because as I said, there is a few different books that done similar. So there's a book called The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine.
Liv. Hey! Repping it for us, babes. It already gives me Bluebeard vibes.
It is, it's the same thing. She infiltrates a family, she's envious of the woman's lifestyle, and then we get a sort of unreliable narrator.
Who could it possibly be?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And also we think she's trying to infiltrate this life that she sees as this perfect, wonderful existence, but there's a darker side to it, and when she gets to where she thinks she wants to get to, she realises that, okay, this is I hugely regret this now. Yeah. There's some shit going down. Oh, nice. And again, that could be another one that could have been the TikTok sensation.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't.
Tell us, TikTok, have you already read this?
It wasn't chosen.
But yeah, excellent. Thank you so much for listening to us, guys. Ramble on.
Yep.
With our sometimes unfair opinions. We're quite harsh, I think, sometimes.
We're harsh today. We're in a harsh mood today.
Sorry, Freida.
And we've also got another episode to film right after this, so I hope that doesn't continue.
Speaking of that, next week we are reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace. It is a sort of a gothic fantasy mystery romance type. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You've got a week, guys. Well, we've got a matter of seconds, but you've got a week. Again, follow us on all the socials, particularly TikTok. We've just hit 1,000 followers on TikTok.
Woo-hoo!
So we're going to be abusing those life privileges. Page Turners Pod.
Yep.
Email us, podcastpageturners at gmail.com.
Still haven't got a winner.
Somebody, I mean, if anything, the list of books is getting longer for you to be chosen by. But yeah, no, please let us know what you think. Comment. You can make comments now on Spotify.
Can you?
Laura left a comment last week. Number one fan.
Thanks, Laura.
And yeah. And
please do, and let us know if you've read it.
We can reply to them.
That's fun.
Which I think I did.
Read the book, and did you spot the twist coming?
Oh, God, who didn't?
I want to know.
Sorry, if you didn't, sorry.
Yeah, let's not alienate our audience here.
Yes,
if you didn't, that's fine.
There's only 3 of them.
Don't worry if you didn't spot it.
But yes, come back next week. We will have a good book for you, and in 2 weeks you'll find out whether Amy went to Amsterdam and whether I made all those Fringe shows.
Who can wait?
Oh, we can't.
Bye.
Happy reading.